Hey homie, how it doing? I've been working on this for you and I want to roll straight into the story of this update with any of that extra framing stuff you told me not to use. Just imagine we're hanging out and I'm giving you the full run through of what's new, what actually matters, and what this patch 1.44.a, mentioned just this once, really does to the rhythm of the game. So the first thing that hits you the moment you load back in is how different the scout cannon feels. It used to be one of those items that sounded cool, but got ditched the second someone realized how heavy it was and how much movement it stole from you. People would pick it up, walk 5 steps, feel their stamina wheeze, and drop it behind a rock like it was cursed. This patch completely changes that attitude. Suddenly, it's lighter, noticeably lighter, and it doesn't feel like it's dragging you across the ground. You can pick it up and actually feel mobile. It doesn't choke your momentum or make you feel like you're lugging around a suitcase full of bricks, and that single shift opens the door for players to experiment with it again. But weight isn't everything. The real star change, the one people won't shut up about once they experience it, is the ability to launch zombies. The first time you see someone do it, you might genuinely laugh just from how ridiculous and unexpectedly effective it is. There's something wild about grabbing this creature that's supposed to be the biggest threat in the moment and firing it off like you're running some unpredictable carnival game. And the best part is how many creative uses it opens up. There are these narrow sections in different biomes, especially in roots, where enemies cluster in ways that make movement tight and uncomfortable. Now you can actually use the environment and physics in your favor. You can punt a zombie into a hallway and scatter a cluster that was blocking your team. You can reposition enemies that were cornering you. You can even mess around with height advantages, sending one tumbling down a slope to cause chaos behind it. And because the cannon is so much lighter now, it's not some once-per-run gimmick. People can carry it around as part of their main tools and feel like the trade-off is worth it. It's funny how a small stat tweak can totally flip the identity of an item. Before, players grabbed it ironically. Now they grab it intentionally. The cannon went from being a burden to being a toy with teeth. Another thing that pairs with this is the reduction in forced ragdoll time. Everyone knows how annoying it used to be to get thrown around and then wait forever for your character to get back on their feet. You'd be sliding, spinning, tumbling, and there was nothing you could do except watch and pray you didn't smack into a bad spot. Now, recovery is faster. You land, you get up, and you can actually react instead of watching your life flash before your eyes. That just makes gameplay feel smoother. It reduces those weird moments where everything suddenly becomes physical slapstick and you can't control anything. You still get tossed, sure, but you don't feel like you're being punished twice. Once for the launch, and again for the recovery time. Now let's talk about the infection and death timer change, because this one isn't flashy, but it impacts the game more than anything. Before this update, if your teammate was about to flip into a zombie, you could carry them like a safety blanket. As long as you held them, they stayed in that limbo. It gave players this sense of comfort. Like if you just held on to them long enough, you could get them to safety and figure things out there. That entire illusion is gone now. The death timer keeps ticking even if someone is being carried. If their spore level is high enough, they can still turn while you're holding them. And that right there changes the emotional tone of rescues. Carrying someone is no longer a guaranteed act of protection. It's a risk, a gamble, a timed gamble at that. You can be halfway across a field with your teammate on your back and then suddenly they're not your teammate anymore. Their teeth and claws and panic. That adds this extra tension that wasn't there before. Instead of playing hero for the sake of being dramatic, you have to actually check their condition and decide if carrying them is smart or suicidal. Some players are going to ignore this at first and pay the price, which is going to lead to some intense moments in squads where people are yelling at each other to leave someone or carry someone or drop someone, but it's not all chaos. The update gives you a visual tell on the death bar so you can see when someone is close to turning. That little detail is going to save lives if people bother to look at it. It becomes a soft warning system, a hint that maybe you shouldn't try to drag someone across an entire zone when they're already seconds from turning. It also rewards awareness. Paying attention actually pays off now. If you ignore it and someone turns mid-carry, that's on you. Moving away from the high-impact changes, this patch also cleans up a bunch of little issues that used to break the flow more than people realized. Things like crashes tied to specific item interactions, weird physics around certain props, and strange behavior when zombies turned at the exact wrong moment. These little gremlins affected way more runs than people talk about. Nothing kills momentum like a crash right when your squad was finally in a rhythm. Squads lost full attempts to bugs that weren't even dramatic, just sudden freezes or weird item reactions that the game didn't know how to handle. This patch clears up several of those. It's the kind of invisible work players won't notice until they suddenly realize they haven't crashed in a while. When the game stops interrupting itself, you feel it, even if you don't consciously think about it. Runs feel smoother. Tension feels earned instead of accidental. You're wiped out by mistakes or bad planning instead of technical nonsense the game threw at you. That alone will make the update feel like a breath of fresh air for anyone who likes long sessions. There's also a fix for that goofy little exploit where players were flying around with winged walking and only one balloon. That trick had comedy value, sure, but it also broke movement in ways that didn't match the rest of the game's rules. Now you need 3 balloons for anything like that. And while some players will mourn the loss of their weird floaty secret, the larger game experience feels more grounded and intentional. It prevents the kind of movement that turns matches into something the devs never meant for them to be. Another small but meaningful change is the behavior of lava. Before, it would instantly burn whatever you were holding. One little misstep could delete your items even if you didn't mean to touch the lava for more than a split second. Now, it behaves in a more forgiving way. It's still dangerous, but it doesn't treat every tiny slip as a total wipeout. It reduces those frustrating moments where you weren't even fighting an enemy, you were fighting environmental jank. All these small adjustments add up. They make the world feel more consistent. When a game's rules feel predictable, players lean into strategies more confidently. You stop worrying about whether a weird bug will ruin your run and start focusing on whether your team is hitting their marks or making smart choices. It's a silent quality boost. The best part of all this, though, is how it changes the vibe of matches. The canon changes make interactions more playful and chaotic in a good way. The infection timer change adds tension that feels dramatic instead of cheap. The fixes make everything flow better. Put together, you get this strange blend of calm and unpredictability. You feel more in control, but the moments when things go sideways feel more deserved and entertaining. I can already see the clips people are going to make because of this update. The first time someone accidentally launches a zombie into their teammate and knocks them into a pit? A pit? That's going viral in somebody's feed. The moment a player is being carried and suddenly flips midair, that's going into a montage with dramatic music. The situations practically write themselves, and that's what makes this patch feel alive. It adds just enough spice to turn regular matches into memorable stories. There's something satisfying about updates that don't overhaul everything, but still manage to change the mood of the game. Instead of reinventing mechanics, this patch enhances what's there. It doesn't introduce some new big toy to learn, but it makes old toys feel new again. And in a game where tools matter, that's worth a lot. When you put all this together, the update feels steady and confident. It's not trying to shock anybody. It's trying to elevate the experience already in place. You have more reasons to use items you ignored before. You have new risks to factor into your teamwork. You have fewer technical issues dragging you out of the moment. And because of that, matches feel fuller, cleaner, and more expressive. It's the kind of patch that helps the game breathe. It opens up new possibilities without confusing the player base. It sharpens the tension without making the game stressful in annoying ways. It smooths rough edges without sanding away the charm. And honestly, it's just fun. The canon is more fun. The rescue moments are more intense. The stability is more reliable. Everything fits together in a way that feels like the devs knew exactly what needed nudging and what needed leaving alone.